Hey guys, so I saw this video where Just Pearly Things, Pearly from Just Pearly Things. Yeah, she was on this network, Let's Talk TV. This I don't know if you guys know Piers Morgan. Yeah, that is the network that he works on. Yeah, so she went on there and well, she wasn't debating Piers Morgan. She was yeah. So this is another segment of the show that she was debating a bunch of liberal feminist women. So yeah, it will be fun. I haven't seen it, but let's check it out. This would be fun.
Can everyone trust the police? Well, I think I think we could trust them more if there were guns.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe ban women from the police force.
Ooh,
Hello and welcome to Women Unfiltered, where each week we bring you frank and honest debate, all from a female perspective.
what?
On the show today,
Did she say that?
ally or
Oh, it's
enemy,
gonna
we're
trigger these
discussing whether
women.
women in Britain can ever trust the police again. And we ask, should abortion be a criminal issue? This comes after a woman was jailed for inducing an abortion after the legal time limit. As always, we'll be filling in the blanks of some of this week's trending news headlines. And later, your questions will be answered. Now, joining me today are three fierce females. Agony aunt and advice editor at The Sun, Sally Land.
Thank you.
Former Chief Superintendent Palm Sandhu. And YouTuber and content creator Pearl Davis. But now, buckle up, because this is Women Unfiltered.
Liberals, bro, liberal.
First up, faith in the police has been rapidly declining since the murder of Sarah Everard in March of 2021, and more recently, the horrific case of serial rapist David Carrick. This prompted Met Commissioner Sir Mark Rowley to reveal that the force is currently investigating 1,000 sexual and domestic abuse claims involving about 800 of its officers. A recent YouGov stat showed that under half of women in the UK trust the police. Sally, it's clear then from that stat that women don't actually feel safe with the police. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think the headlines that you've just referenced within the last 2 to 3 years have been utterly devastating. So it's no surprise that confidence in the police has been dented.
I think we're in a very bad situation at the moment because the police themselves aren't admitting that there's a problem. And we've all heard the comments from the Commissioner, Mark Rowley, where there's been a recent report which was done by Dame Louise Casey, and she's pointed out the failings of policing, but they're not accepting they've got a problem. So how do you find a solution? And so for me, the first step is admit there's a problem, find the solution. And then through that, women themselves will start feeling safer and trust the police more.
I'm curious. There's 1,000 assault claims, you said?
Yeah.
Okay, and how many police officers are there? I don't. I'm not from the U.S.
I mean, this is covering 800 officers for those 1,000 accusations.
Okay,
So
because
it's a
I
high
just think there's a
number.
difference between like accusations and convictions.
Right.
So
Okay.
yeah.
There's
Uh-oh.
about 33,000 police
Uh-oh.
officers in London, and that 1,000 is part
Trigger alert. Man, she's gonna trigger these women. I swear to
of
God.
that 33,000.
Oh, so it's one.
Yeah, so those are the
So
ones
that's like
in
less
London.
than like what, 2%?
But that's 2% too many.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty
2%
small.
too many.
But it's
I mean, but it's like if 1% of women do something, am I going to blame all of women?
okay.
Like if 2% of women, like does that include me now? And I just think that we're kind of going to dangerous territory if we're going to say 2% of a whole entire population. You're going to make that generalization about all of them.
I would say that you
And again,
have
these
to
are-
be able to trust the police. That is the cornerstone of justice in our society, to have that faith, not just for women, for gay people, for people, black people, Asian
Jesus
people.
Christ.
The report said that there's a problem with misogyny, homophobia. Women feel safe, and whether they have a responsibility to make themselves feel safer, it's actually for police to give them that
Okay, but
confidence.
How? Like, because a lot of times it's like how do you do that? I mean, I'm American. I'd give them. We have different solutions there, but how?
If I could jump in there, because the issue there is, even if you've only got 1% of officers who are domestic violence abusers, that's 1%
And that's
too
that's
much.
accusations, right? And we kind of get into a dangerous territory when we start treating an accusation like a criminal offense.
And you're absolutely right. And the majority of police officers are
You see what she did? Yeah. I think she's about to trigger all these women. I think that she's about to, like, these women. They're, I mean, because they're, I mean, nowadays, of course, they are treated, when they say you're accused of something, in the eyes of public opinion, you did it. So you know, but
Good, hardworking individuals, and they're there for the right reason.
Right.
But those individuals are in a position of trust. So when you've got a member of the public, is that member of the public going to call the police officer who himself is a domestic violence abuser? And that's where the danger is.
But it's not solely a problem about that. Some police officers, it's also, I know you've spoken about this, female officers within the force don't feel that they can always speak out against male colleagues because they're worried about the impact on them. And is that a serious
And
problem?
Absolutely. And that is probably the second step where you're talking about what should we do about it. The second step is to create a safe environment so that serving officers, whether they're male or female, can speak up and make their voice heard.
I think, again, accusations does not equal guilt. And you get into a tricky place where we're saying, oh, the people accusing them should just be heard. Well, they should be heard if there's evidence and they can prove it.
I don't think anyone here would disagree with what you're saying. An accusation is not the same as a conviction. However, if you have such high levels of misogyny, racism,
Misogyny, like what high levels of, like, we need to define it, right? Because a lot of times we throw around these terms and it's like, what is misogyny? What does that mean? Because I thought it was the hatred of women, and I don't see police officers left and right. I've been in here, the UK, a year and a half. I don't see them openly hating women.
Well, I think the bigger picture here is that people have lost trust in the police, whether they're accusations or convictions. Women have lost trust in the police. There was discussion around the time of this tragic.
the way they throw these words around, misogyny, homophobia, all this nonsense. I'm sorry. That was a report I read. The police in UK, they've gone woke as well. They have all this pride stuff going on. Where is the homophobia in that? Like, I don't understand. Talking about misogyny and homophobia, they got pride stuff all over the police now in UK. What are they talking about? What is she talking about?
Case that
Jesus
men should
Christ.
take some of the responsibility for women feeling safe, and that they should have it was discussion at the time that men should perhaps stay indoors at certain times so that women could feel confident.
That is the most sexist policy I
What?
have ever heard. That is open sexism. That's open, like, you're going to tell all of men they can't go out after 11 p.m.
And some men were willing to do that, and other people were up in arms. It was a really interesting conversation.
I think that's a really sexist policy. I think this is why I think guns are really important. I'm American. Yeah. So
you see what they did? She was about to say something important and they cut it off. These people, I swear to God, I told you, these people, you can never, ever trust these people. I knew there was something liberal. I know these women were liberals. Like, I know, because I know that she was about to hit them with some reality and they edited it out. This is crazy, y'all. This is just crazy. Anyway, let's keep going.
yeah, so
controversial.
yeah, like, again, if you're walking home alone at night and you have a gun, you'd feel a lot safer. I personally would. As someone that gets, I get death threats all the time. I wish I was in a country where, yeah, I could have guns and the right to bear arms.
Not going too much on a tangent, but we have a real knife crime problem here. I don't know if we necessarily want to add an additional issue into the mix, but let's move on. Now, a mother of three received a 28-month sentence for taking abortion pills at home after the legal limit. 44-year-old Carla Foster received the medication via the pills by post scheme introduced in lockdown, but wasn't honest about how far along her pregnancy was at the time of her consultation. Now, Sally, can I bring you in here? What do you think of this case and her sentencing?
I don't think there's any woman who chooses to have an abortion lightly. And I certainly see it in my email box every single week, the tortured decision making that women do go through when they decide to have an abortion, and in some cases not. This mum of three will have made an absolutely horrific decision, and I don't think prison is the place for her. She has flashbacks. She is traumatized. She has depression. She is haunted by the face of her dead daughter's face every single day. I think she knows she made a mistake. A custodial sentence is not the answer.
And Palm, this, is going back to a law that was created in 1861. Do you think it's right that we're still using it today?
I think the whole situation is really complex and it is particularly horrendous. And what we've got to remember is, why do people get sent to prison? Number one, it's so that they're not a danger to the public. Number two is to rehabilitate them. Now, is this woman going to go to prison? Is she a danger to the public, or is she going to be rehabilitated in prison? I don't think she's going to fit either of those categories.
How far along was she?
Between 32 and 34 weeks.
Isn't that like
So it's like
7,
7 months.
8 months?
8.
That's
8
8
months.
months.
You deleted a baby at 8 months, and these women on this panel are giving excuses why you shouldn't be. I'm gonna give my take on abortion on abortions when this God, this is so triggering. Like, yeah, I'm gonna give my take on this at the end of the video. But this is crazy, y'all.
Yeah, that's so disgusting. That's literally disgusting. Yeah, I mean, there's babies that have survived at 6 months, like 6.5. So I actually think that's gross. And yeah, she should go to jail for that.
But what do you think about
8 months?
women's
Like,
rights?
that's crazy.
But what do you think this represents for women's rights, this decision that she's gone to prison for this? What do you think that's done for women's rights and the autonomy to our own bodies?
I think, yeah, I mean, you have the right to do what you want with your body, but not to someone else's body. And that's a full-grown child, especially at 8 months. Can you imagine if that baby was born early and they threw an 8-month-old baby off of a bridge, something like that? There would be an uproar. There would be an absolute uproar. But for some reason, she has no consequences for taking an abortion pill at 8 months.
I don't think there should be no consequences. In our country, abortion is legal to the upper limit of 24 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I think, whether or not that should be lowered or higher is a matter for the democratic process. I don't agree with what she did. However, I cannot understand what is going to be gained by sending her to prison. She has 3 sons, one of whom has special needs. How are those children going to benefit from their mother being in prison for over a year?
Because again, if you let her do that, then other women will see that and do the same thing. I think we have laws for a reason. So I don't think it's like, oh, I can just break the law and have no consequence. You broke the law. Like,
I don't think anybody's saying it's right. Well, we're not saying it's right or wrong, or I should say that's my...
You're making excuses for it. You're making excuses for it. What is that? Like, you're literally making excuses for a woman killing an 8-month-old baby, flushing it down the toilet. God, Jesus Christ.
View on it. What we're saying is,
This is very
the punishment.
grotesque.
Does the punishment fit what she's done?
yes.
That's the
And
question. But the punishment,
yes.
the reason that people are sent to prison is for rehabilitation or because if they're a danger to the public. Now, this woman isn't going to go and attack other women and cause abortions, is she? And in addition to that, if I may, I've held the hand of many rape victims, many victims of incest who make that difficult decision. It's never somebody else's decision. It's that individual's decision for whatever reason. So taking away the right to abortions or the right to do that to your body, it's a really complex area, and it's something that you've got to tread really lightly.
But 8 months, you don't think that should be legal for them to
We're
get
not
abortions
saying
up to
it's
8
not about the
months?
legality,
No,
because
I'm just asking you personally. You don't think up to 8 months it should be legal?
what I'm saying is that when they abort,
She doesn't want
abort
to
a
answer
baby
the
at 7 or
question.
8 weeks, it's flushed down the toilet. Now,
Jesus Christ.
she's a mother. She knew that a baby that was already 8 months, she's not going to flush that down the toilet. She wasn't thinking straight. Her head is a mess. Now, if she's mentally or emotionally unstable, what good is it to send her to prison?
I think it shows women you can't do that, because if you don't have her go to prison, then other women are going to do the same
You're
thing.
never going to you're never going to end up 8 months pregnant considering taking illegal pills in terms of you should have taken them before 10 weeks, unless you are in an absolutely horrendous situation, unless you
Wrong.
have been
That's not
raped,
correct.
unless
That's
you
not
are in a
correct.
domestic violence situation.
99.5, like, I'm just correcting you because this isn't correct. 99.5% of abortions are elective. I've looked up the stats here. It's not true. The majority are literally elective. It's like 0.05% that are because of what you're mentioning.
What do you mean by elective?
Elective as in they don't have a reason.
I'm going to disagree with that figure. I'm going to disagree with that figure because I know
I've never seen that stat. I've never seen that stat.
It's self-reported.
No, but all I'm going to say is that I know that having dealt with rape and incest,
no, but I'm saying
those
it's
women
0.05%.
technically that would be considered an elective abortion.
No, there's a box they can click it.
But if you've been raped, you elect to have an abortion, or if you've
No,
been
but
a victim of incest, it's considered an elective.
No,
You
I don't
choose
think
to
so.
have
No, it's not. It says rape on it. It's rape.
But also, if you're
incest,
just
yeah.
discussing on a personal level, ticking a box doesn't really necessarily mean anything about someone's experience, why they're there. I think the bigger picture, which we should maybe
believe women. That's what they said. They said why they got the abortion. I thought, don't we believe women here?
But I don't think anyone's questioning that. This is such an unusual case, and in fact, it's 0.1% of abortions happen after 24 weeks. On that basis alone, this is so unusual. The vast majority in this country happen before 10 weeks, and in any case, no woman just goes, oh, do you know, I'm not going to take my contraception pill. I'm just going to go for an abortion because it's just easier.
Yes, they do.
Right, but this is all based on
Yes, they do.
stories and what they're saying.
Pearl, you have to believe people, because if somebody comes to me and says, I've been raped, I have to believe them. I can't say, I don't believe you.
Why would I just openly believe women?
I think it's very dangerous territory to start saying that we shouldn't believe women who have either been raped or have been victims of incest.
No, that have no
Should we
evidence
believe
of.
men when they've gone through something? If they're victims of
It's
sexual
not
assault?
a gender issue.
No,
we should believe people.
Yes,
if they
absolutely.
No, I think you need evidence at the end of the day, because I think we're in a dangerous territory when we just openly believe. Like, you can completely defame someone's reputation off of a story. No, you need evidence. If that was your son, you wouldn't want them to do that.
Well, this lady wasn't accusing anyone. She was asking for help, and I don't think you are.
You see what happens? Anytime she hits them with reality, they switch they switch the conversation. I don't think that these women have ever had their views challenged before. So they're like all over the place. They're really confused. They're really confused.
Ask for help unless you are in trouble, unless you have a serious problem on your hands.
Now, this is the part of the show where we take a look at some of the week's headlines circling our debate, and we try to fill in the blanks. So, kicking off with the first one. The awarded a counselling contract to a group set up to stop abortions.
I'm going to go BBC.
Okay.
I'm thinking government or NHS.
Yes.
Oh,
Boom. You're
I
right.
was gonna add to BBC because that's the only one I know.
I think it needs to be completely unbiased, and I don't think essentially the NHS should be getting involved in what is a highly politicised issue.
Can we agree, like, less abortions is better for women?
No.
Like, women, didn't you just say all the trauma women go through when they get an abortion? Do you think, like, this is mentally, like, good for women?
The trauma that women go through making that decision.
Yeah, so wouldn't it be
not
better?
having an
Wouldn't it be
abortion.
better if we had less unplanned pregnancies, less abortions?
I think that's a huge leap to go from one to the other.
Okay,
And
so abortions are good for the mental health of women?
I
There are
think
situations
pro-choice.
where things happen to women and abortion is the only option sometimes.
Should biologically male police officers be able to women?
Search.
Pearl, what do you think it is?
Search, that was a good guess.
Yeah,
Take hers.
times 3.
Okay, it's strip search.
Okay.
Sally, what do you make of that?
Biologically
Male.
male.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
Palm?
Not as a norm. However, if there's a dangerous situation, it may have to happen.
Right.
For example, if a woman's secreted a knife about her body somewhere, or something that's going to harm her and others, there may be, 1 in a million chance that that needs to happen, but normally no.
All right. Lastly, new Wayne Cousins will explore culture of misogyny in police.
Review?
I'm going to take her as a review.
Yeah, investigation.
Well, the answer is documentary.
Okay.
Sally, do you think we need a documentary on this?
I think we need to reflect more and learn more from the mistakes made.
Okay.
Definitely.
I think it'd be really interesting. There's a lot of public interest in it at the moment, and also it will dispel the myth that the police are above the law, which is what Wayne Cousins said, which is what Carrick said, that even if they were reported, because they were police officers, that they'd get away with it.
You've been sending us your questions ahead of this week's show. We're going to do our best to answer one of them now. Elizabeth asks, can any of us trust the police service? It's failing everyone, not just women. But what's the alternative? Pal?
Can everyone trust the police? Well, I think we could trust them more if there were guns,
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, maybe
Don't the police in UK have guns? I mean, I don't know. I don't live in UK. Wait, don't they have guns like the police? If they don't have guns, how are they protecting people? Like, wait, I'm honestly confused. Do they not have guns in UK? I think I'm gonna ask my sister about that. Yeah, my sister, she lived in UK for a while. I don't really know much about the policing in UK. But I would think they have. I mean, every police in every country have guns. I would assume. I'm gonna figure that stuff out. I'm gonna find out.
ban women from the police force.
Ooh, oh my God, yeah, that's
Okay,
what she said in the
yes.
first.
What would that achieve?
I would feel a lot safer, to be honest. Like, I'm just thinking, right?
She's about to trigger all these ladies. I swear to God, even me, I'm cringing right now. I'm cringing.
If I'm in my apartment and someone's breaking in, and now I'm on my last, like, I'm so scared, I'm hiding, it's a man. Like, how am I going to be protected? And I call, you used to be a police officer, you come in, what is she going to do? Like, that I could.
Oh my God, this is so cringe.
couldn't do.
So what if it was a different crime? What if, God forbid, you were
I would
a victim of some sort of assault?
I would prefer if I was being assaulted,
No,
a man to
if you
save
were-
me.
If you were reporting something after the incident happened, would you still want a male officer to
Yeah.
be holding your hand if you've gone through something
I mean-
incredibly traumatic?
Yeah, I mean, maybe in the, like, I don't have a problem with them doing the, like, non-combat, like, stuff, but I'm just saying I would feel safer if when I called, I knew a guy was coming.
I have been to so many assaults, so many issues, fights, and everything.
Mhm.
The women can talk their way out of situations. They can calm. They can diffuse. Do you really want police officers to turn up to shoot people, to batter them with their batons?
Oh, you see, that guy had a gun. So police have guns. So what are they talking about? They don't have guns. Is that an AK? It looks like an AK. I don't know. But I mean, Jesus Christ. So assault is the only crime that happens in UK. I mean, they're talking about they have an excessive knife crime in UK. Knife crime in UK. Are you gonna call a woman to defuse that? I'm just asking.
Or to kick them in. No, you want them to diffuse the situation. And I used to have that attitude like 20, 30 years ago where people would turn around and say, I want a man, or I want a white person, or I want somebody from this
Now
sexual
now she's
persuasion.
brought it
I
to
just want
race.
That
someone.
is just
I
so.
just
Now she's brought it to race. It's because it's always race with these people. It's everything is so racism. I want a white man. I want because she's white. Yeah, of course she's gonna want a white man. Oh, these people are so predictable, man. These people are so predictable. I swear to God.
I want someone stronger
I'm
than
really
me.
glad that we haven't got
I
the
am- I'm
American
just,
style.
I don't really know where to begin with that. I feel like I've gone to the dark ages.
Yeah.
I mean,
Have that
it's not just about physical strength.
It is if someone's attacking you.
But
If
both
someone's
genders.
oh my gosh. If someone's attacking you, you don't think it's about physical strength.
But there's so much more that the police have to deal with.
Police officers don't just
than
roll around on the
physical
floor.
assault. A lot of what the police officers are dealing with now is mental health fallout. Why can't women help
Jesus
victims
Christ.
with mental health issues just as well as men?
One, isn't that what therapists are for? Like, what are they?
I certainly don't think making all police officers male would help the situation at all, especially when we're talking about the fact that women currently don't have faith in the police force.
That's all we've got time for today. My thanks.
Man, she really got them, man. She really triggered them. She even got me cringed a little sometimes. But even though what she said, like if you look at it from her perspective, which majority of the time people are not calling the police to, for therapy sessions. People are calling the police because something really, really severe is going down or is about to go down, and that severe stuff is violence. When you are in danger, when you are in danger, or when you're about to face something that is really horrific, you're calling the police to protect you, and you're going to call the best people for the job. If I was being in a shootout, if someone is breaking into my house and then I dial 911, two chicks show up, I'll be ending up protecting those two chicks. Okay, I'm going to try to be serious. Look, when you look at it from that perspective, yeah, you could see her point. Now, am I saying that? Am I on the extreme? A take for her to say that women are not needed in police. I wouldn't go as far as saying that, but on the other hand, if I'm calling the cops, I want people that are competent to show up. And if I'm dealing with something, yeah, and bunch of women pull up, yeah, is that wouldn't be what something that I'd be looking forward to. Like that wouldn't be something that I mean, if I know that two chicks are coming, if I dial 911 or two chicks are coming in, why even bother? I might as well try to deal with it myself. But chicks, I mean, but women in the police station, I mean, women in the police force, they are needed for the point. I also understand the points that they were talking about, when it comes to, social situations, when it comes to mental, yeah, women have a way with words, and women have a way to diffuse that kind of situation, especially dealing with other women. I get that. I understand that. So that's why I'm not going as far as saying that women are not required in the police force. In the army, now that is a completely different issue. Yeah, I have a different take on the army, but the police force, of course, women are needed there. Now, when it comes to abortion, now it's either abortion. My take on it is either abortion is moral or is not moral. So it's either that someone you would have the right to delete your baby from the first week of conception to the ninth month of conception. If yeah, I'm on the opinion that if it's moral, then you can have the right to delete the baby from the first week or from the first moment of conception to the ninth month. Is all okay, because if it's moral, it's moral, and if it's not moral, then you should ban it completely. With me, there's no gray area. And since most people think that it's moral to actually delete babies, then they should make it. I don't see why they wouldn't pass a law to make it to make deleting babies accessible from first week to the ninth month. I don't see why. I don't like if you can delete it in 24 weeks, why can't you delete it in 9 months? Like I don't see why you shouldn't because it's moral. I mean, if it's moral, it's moral, right? That's my take on it. It's either or. It's either it's moral or it's not moral. And since the general population thinks it's moral, they should make it a law that if a woman wants to delete her baby from the first week to the ninth month, she could. I think that they should pass that law. And I think that women would jump at it. Let's see what happens. That's just all I'm saying. Let's see what happens. Let's make it legal all the way to the ninth month. And let's see what happens. Anyway, that's my take on abortion. That's always where I've been in abortions. Like I don't try to say that I'm pro-life or pro-choice. I don't try to go into that because there's always an argument to be made. I'm like, okay, if it's moral, then make it legal. If it's not moral, don't make it legal. Ban it. That's where I'm at. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna leave it right there. I think this was a good video. Pearly really triggered those women. Their faces, man. Oh my god. Okay, so if you like the video, if you enjoyed my take on it, if you like, please hit the like button, share your thoughts. I want to see your thoughts in the comments, and then if you don't mind, please subscribe. You have a good night.